Well, Phil, the players are back in, the grass is growing, and for a man who really is itching to get going, you must be starting to feel a bit more excited now.
I am, Matty. I went to a local school this morning as well, and there's an excitement about the fact that we're still involved in the Euros. And I asked a couple of questions: are we all happy with the way England's playing? And as a manager, I'm standing on the touchlines, and it frustrates me because I think everybody expects so much of England. Everybody's going to expect so much of Kidderminster next year, and I don't think people that on the outside of the footballing fence, as it were, realise how much work actually goes into it. I really feel for Gareth and the team. They managed to win their league, and they're going to progress to the last 16. And if we win our league next year, I hope everybody thinks that it's not going to be plain sailing. It's going to be a tough gig, but all I can do is prepare the players. All I can do is prepare people for what's coming, and that's what we've been doing in the last couple of days. We've collated a lot of information from the players that we've got at the football club, that we've re-engaged to the football club, and then we're bringing into the football club, and all that information is about height, weight, body fat, body composition. Nobody's seen a football yet, and yet we're a football club. We're not a Harriers club. But it will turn out from that moment of clarity of where we're at physically or physiologically, shall I say. It'll turn out into footballs out on Monday, sun shining hopefully, and players will be working hard with the ball because everybody wants to be motivated by that circular thing that we kick around for 90 minutes on a Saturday. The excitement will never go away. I said to the kids this morning at the school, I've just realised this is my 46th pre-season, and when I think about that, I think, wow, could actually even be 47. I think I started at 19 at Hartlepool. I'm now 65, so 46 pre-seasons I've had. And when I think about it, I'm just rubbing my hands with eagerness and just want to be as keen as what I used to be as a player. I want the players to see that it's still there as a manager. It doesn't go away, and I just want them players to respond to that and be the same as what I was as a player. I always wanted to be in the front and running. I always wanted to be the first in football. I always wanted to be in the team when it come down to the manager naming it for the first game of the season. And once I was in that team, I was in the 46th game. And that's the kind of mentality I wanted at the football club. And hopefully we will see the fruits of our labour in the next 6 weeks.
You talked about players being motivated by the football. What's your philosophy where that's concerned, in so much as I've known managers over the years say there's not a football in sight for at least the first week? Some managers want them out on day one. Are you a bit of a blend, or?
No, I'm day one. I think it's an old-fashioned Jose Mourinho kind of psychology. When you ever went into Jose Mourinho's office, there was always a ball on the desk, and that ball was synonymous for him to say how much you loved football, because as soon as you touched it, that was it. That was the moment that he goes, okay. And if you never touched it, okay. But I would be picking the ball up off the desk straight away. It's one of them where I've just been in, spoke to Kevin, the kit man, and what a guy. Just asked him how many balls we got for the first day, and he looked at me for the first day, and I said, yeah. So there's 30 balls ready, and hopefully there'll be 30 balls come the end of the 6 weeks. I've looked at the training ground. It's in immaculate condition already. Tim just noticed the groundsman just coming on the pitch at Agbra, just putting the sprinklers on. What a great job he's done. Just trying to get the pitch in the condition and the standard that we want to create a footballing environment, and it is. I said to one or two of the players this morning, I said to Brownie, I got promoted at Bolton Wanderers and Hull City into the Premier League with 2 3/4 pitches. That was the whole of the training ground. I've got 14 pitches, 14 pitches to pick from. I just can't believe it. The environment that the chairman has created at Kidderminster Harriers is first class. We've got to now put a little bit of colour to it. We've got to add a little bit of colour to that environment. By bringing life to a football team that's gone down last year, and we've got to try and breathe some life into the players that are at the football club now, and hopefully the new players that come in as well. So all of them things are running around in my head at the moment. I just sometimes got to sit down in the cold light of day and calm myself down. It's still a long way to go. We've signed a couple of players. We've got another couple of players coming in. We've got 3 or 4 trailers coming in on Monday, and put all that together, 4 or 5 coming up from the academy as well. Put all that together, we've got to find out a little bit more about the players, and on a day-to-day basis, myself, Neil MacDonald, our eyes will be on the players, just trying to focus and find out which players are going to be good enough for us, you know. And that's not just technically, that's tactically, that's physically, that's the whole thing, you know, where you've got to go through the mentality of the group, and that sprinkler's getting too close.
And hope we don't get wet.
And hope we do get wet, because, you know, at the end of the day, I hope it's for champagne. For me, you're piecing that jigsaw together now, and it's a great feeling as a manager. There's not a better job in the game, as far as I'm concerned, as a manager, going into a pre-season. Come October and November, and the chairman's now looking at maybe 10 or 12 results, and he's got an opinion about the team and how we put it together. And again, mentioning people in the background, Dean Holdsworth, head of recruitment, basically pulling what I would call a decent batch of players, bringing them into me to try and improve, to mould into a team. All of them things are now slowly but surely in place, and then probably in 10-12 days time we've got a game against Cardiff, and then you've got a result, and all the Kidderminster Harriers fans are going, whoa, what's going on here? So the one thing I would emphasise to Kiddie fans now is it's a necessary evil, and I will say this so often you'll be bored of me saying it. It's a necessary evil, pre-season. You have to go through it physically, you have to go through it mentally, you have to go through it technically. All of the attributes that you're trying to hone in on and trying to improve, you have to go through all them pain barriers to get to that moment on the 10th of August to be actually ready. So there's a lot of hurdles to be jumped, but everyone will look at results, and I'm trying to say to the Kiddie fans, forget about results in pre-season. The main result is that one on the 10th of August, and hopefully get off to a good start.
As you've mentioned, a couple of signings in Luke Summerfield and Paul Downing. What can you tell us about them?
Character, that's what I can say. Both of them very, very strong characters, very good characters. Will demand a certain standard of play. They'll demand a certain standard in training. If they can remain fit, you know, people might question the age of Luke Summerfield, but he's a technician. He wants to play football. He wants to get us to play football, and he's got great history and a great record of being able to do that. I know his family quite well, and everything he's going to bring to the party is going to be of an experience that I like. The same with Paul Downing. You know, we brought him in, and you know, we've done my homework on Paul, and yes, he's had his injuries, but if we can get a clear run on Paul next season, he'd be one of the better centre halves in the division for sure. Put his head in where it matters, and then get that ball down and play some football when it matters as well. So they're the two that we've got so far, but there'll be a couple of exciting ones coming in as well.
You've mentioned having the lads on the training ground the last couple of days. I know day one of pre-season for you, if you like, is Monday when you can get some work into them. But they've had the testing the last couple of days. What's it been like having their faces back around in front of you and just seeing them interact? Because that's a big part of it, isn't it?
It's a big part of it. That's the part that I actually miss as a ex-player or former player. You know, the banter, the crack amongst the players is nothing's changed. It's still really good. It's still really sharp. It's still really bright. It's a modern day banter nowadays, and you know, some of the times I don't understand some of the stuff they're coming out with. But hey ho, you've got to be detached, and there's the detachment straight away. I do enjoy being around the players. It's the best part of management, I think, and you've got to get to know them as well as you possibly can. But at the same time, you've got to understand that I'm the one that's going to have to tell them as well. So you get as close as you need to in these moments, and some of the times I witnessed some of this morning. We did a 3k run, which was a little bit of a test for some of the players, and the goalkeepers did the 3k run, and one of the goalkeepers was struggling, and in the last 500 metres, and 2 or 3 of the lads went and ran with him and dragged him through it. That for me is a testimony to the togetherness of the group last year. Almost got us to safety. That togetherness needs to remain, and that togetherness needs to commit to each other, and if it does, then we'll have a team.